Hey everybody, Andy here, AK Montolio. We're here for a Vintage League. I'm playing 5 color shots. And our opponent is a reasonably well-known Hogak Vine player. So, that said, did we win the die roll? We did not. I mean, this does shut off Bazaar. This Trinisphere could be really good. I'm gonna keep this. This is not a good keep, to be clear, but we have a lot of live draws off the top of our library. We've got a turn one Spyglass and a turn one Karn. Those are all pretty good. What we need to avoid here is a hollow one. Dark Depths. Okay, so we're playing against something a little different here. This looks like the Zeus Bond deck that we're playing against, and could be pretty good against us. So why don't we do this? Now we have 4 mana. I could slam a 3-ball here. I cannot cast Karn. This is a bit of a tough call. I really am not keen to crack my Lotus here to cast a 3-ball, to be honest with you. But 3-ball is fairly decent. The problem is my life is being taxed fairly quickly here, fairly heavily. I think I'm going to do it, though. We got to try and win. And we've got lots of good draws off the top. Like Golos is really the card that we're looking for the most here. Golos will go and find me a Caracas. Or I could go get an Academy. We'll see what our need is the most at the time. But, these Ancient Tombs are going to start adding up very quickly here for us. We also have the option of going to get Giganta if we don't get Wastelanded. Oh, they used an Elvis Spirit Guide to cast it. I'm like, how did they get that under my Trinisphere? Okay, well, I think that's pretty decent for us. I mean, hopefully they don't find a land here. Although their deck basically is a lands deck. Archon. Okay. I don't even know if we have the luxury necessarily of shutting off the Thespian Stage Dark Depths combo, to be honest with you. I'm just going to cast well, here's the thing. Oh yeah, this costs an extra mana. I think I'm going to play Karn. And I'm going to kill their Mox. Right? Like, there's nothing I can go get right here now. I can go get a Wormcoil. I could make my 3-ball a blocker. Yeah, I think that's the best bet. And hopefully Karn can tie this down with a 3-ball here. This takes away the combo of the depth stage right now. Or so I think anyways. The deck does run Elvis Spirit Guides. So they've got a Savannah. They have an Archon, so they can't attack clean in here. I mean, unless they haven't... Well, they can't cast an STP. Bog is not overly helpful here, unfortunately. I think I need to, like, next turn, I guess they can cast an Archon. Putting me down to 4. This stops the attack. But next turn, I can actually go get Wormcoil. And Wormcoil could be pretty good on this board. And if I really get into trouble, I mean, I guess I can't go get Ensnaring Bridge here. Like, I kind of feel like, as much as I really want to get this down, it's probably smart for me to take away the option of the depths because they have an Archon and an unknown card in hand. Let's do that. Or yeah, this will cost me 4 to cast. Yeah, it's not worth it. So I think I'm going to do that. I mean, look, Archon is good. Like, what does Archon do for them? Or do I want to cast the Sphere to keep? So my options here is I can cast Spyglass, shutting off Thespian Stage, and that prevents a 20/20 from killing me, which they will be able to do next turn if they have it, to make the 20/20. Which is problematic. I mean, that's probably the worst case scenario, but I know they have an Archon of Emeria in hand, which they will be able to cast, which is going to give chip damage to be able to get over top of me. You know, I guess this basically what this comes down to is, do I play the threat that I know they have, which involves casting a Sphere of Resistance and gambling, dying to the 20/20? I feel like that's probably the wisest move. But the problem with this line is that I can't actually cast Wormcoil next turn. Okay, I'm going to play the Spyglass. This is a difficult decision here. Okay, so I got punished a little bit. I mean, they don't have a land here, but we're going to name Thespian Stage. We're going to play the Bojuka Bog. And once again, we are going to animate our Trinisphere here. And we're going to pass turn. Okay, I mean, that was a tough decision. Hopefully they don't find a land, and if they don't, we're not punished. But even if they do, Wormcoil still is coming down and putting up a significant presence on the table. Wasteland would be a nice draw. Okay, that's pretty good too. But I think at this stage in the game, I'm going to go get a Wormcoil. 2, 4, 6, yeah. I mean, Mycosynth Lattice is actually really nice here too. Mycosynth Lattice just shuts the game down, right? 2, 4, 6. So we go down to 6 life. They pressure us for 2, but they can't kill Karn here. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Let's go get a Lattice here. It just shuts them down from doing anything that I'm truly concerned about. Yeah, it gets me a little bit lower on life than I would like. But I'm going to be able to put up a blocker in front of this Thalia pretty quickly. So we'll get the Lattice here and see if we can shut the game down this way. Oh no. That's awkward, isn't it? Made a little bit of an error there, but I think that's okay. I think we just need to throw up a big colorless creature here. And next turn, I mean, we're getting low on life here. The Archon is problematic from this situation. I kind of made a game-ending error there, potentially. Hopefully I'm not punished for it. Okay, Golos is also a good draw here. I'm going to draw some cards here. I think I'm going to draw cards, see if they give me a land. They didn't. They gave me balance. And Strip Mine entered the sideboard here. So now I'm going to go and get a Wurmcoil. And we're going to attempt to cast a Wurmcoil, which actually costs 6 mana. And this should put us in a pretty reasonable position. I feel like I can attack here. We need to start pressuring our opponent. If you're hearing some horns on my video here, it's my neighbor has turned 65 today, and during COVID, of course, they can't throw a big party for him, so everybody's out on their patios waving at him and driving by and honking their horns, so pretty cool. All right, so we got there game one, and I don't know how I feel about this deck. Pretty scary, I would say. I do feel like we got a little bit lucky this game. You know, the Ancient Tombs were problematic, and our opponent really stumbled on mana that game. Beg your pardon, excuse me. They've got a lot of ways to kill my mana in this, so perhaps a basic is not unreasonable. They don't have counter spells. I kind of feel like Welder is... maybe it's okay. Balance seems decent. Choke is no good. Null Rod seems very meh. The Wurmcoil does seem decent. But they probably are running some semblance of S. Yeah, like I'm pretty sure this deck runs 4 STP. So it does make these worse, Wurmcoils. I think we can leave that there. We've got the Mountain come in here. I feel like everything is fairly reasonable. I don't feel like Sphinx is really where we want to be here. Although I do like the presence of a flyer in this deck. Maybe it's not so bad. Smokestack, probably not the best on the draw. Why don't we try this? Yeah, this feels like it's a pretty tough matchup. I mean, that's a hand. Turn 1 Golos feels good. Let's put our Planeswalker here. Fix our sideboard. And we're going to keep this hand. I guess we could have maybe took Spyglass out, but I guess that shuts down the combo, so that's probably not worth doing. Windswept Heath, okay. One of the things I like about this deck that they're playing is, yeah, I mean, hey, that's a great play from them. A Wasteland just outright kills me here, right? So, okay. Let's Spyglass here and see what we're dealing with. Strip Mine and Wasteland. Okay, so we're going to take one of those. I think Wasteland is probably best to take because there's 4 of them, and I feel like we're in a reasonably vulnerable position here, so they're likely apt to hit my Ancient Tomb right now. we'll see what they do. Like if they leave me uninhibited here, like they don't waste me, trying to build up towards a 2020, that's good for me. Because if I can get a Golos into play, it's going to be very strong for me. They played the Heath. Interesting. I'm confused. Why would they do that? Are they trying to... I mean, I'm slamming Golos here. I'm just all about getting mana right now. Now, here is an interesting situation. What would we like to get? I really feel like we need to get big mana. When I say big mana, I'm talking about going and getting another workshop here. Caracas is decent for the 2020, but I do have another one. So I'm going to get another Mishra's Workshop here against my better judgment. I think it's very possible that my opponent has the combo, but I know 3 of the cards in their hand. Another option is I get Tabernacle. Tabernacle is really going to slow them down as well, but I will lose my Golos if I do that. I'm going to get Workshop here. I mean, they're playing up to the 2020 here, and I don't think they have any counter magic in their deck, and this is going to allow me to build up to a Sundering Titan or another Golos to go and get a Caracas. Now, I know they have the Wasteland. The question is, are they going to Wasteland me here? If they STP me, this is wonderful. Okay. They're just trying to combo me here. Well, I mean, they are trying to combo. So they found the depths. Okay. Strip mine. So here it comes. So they're trying to set this up for next turn. Now, I can cast Sundering Titan, which will keep them off the combo for a turn. This gives me a big guy. I'm going to cast it. I'm going to take their forest away. I mean, they can Thespian Stage something here if they want. It's fine. Make a second strip mine, but that's keeping them away from their end goal. So we only get one of their lands, but that is enough to disrupt them, hopefully. Okay. We'll move to second main here, see if we can get rid of their mana, or are they going to use their Thespian Stage here? And they just may. I can see a world. I mean, I don't know how they win if they double strip us here. That's going to be really difficult for them to do. Oh, I see what they've done. Yeah, that's really nice. Okay, that hoses me pretty good, actually. Thespian Stage. No, it doesn't actually. Can't tap into itself. Okay. So let's attack. I feel like the high side is playing the Ancient Tomb here. Life should not be an issue at this juncture. So next turn we're going to go get Golos, and like sure they can get Caracas, but we're pounding in for a reasonably hefty amount of damage here. Yeah, okay, so the Wasteland. So next turn they can combo. Ooh, balance. That is not very good for me because the lands. Now, can I get everything out of my hand? So we know we've got the strip mine. We know we've got the wasteland. So next turn they make their 20/20. And they have to actually kill my Caracas or their plan falls apart. This is turned off by Spyglass. Okay, well, first things first, let's attack in. If I've calculated this correctly, they are going to have to do my Caracas, and they can't kill me next turn with a 20/20. Or I could just hold up, like I could actually just take their, I could just waste their Thespian Stage right now too, which keeps them off for another turn. I kind of like that actually. I mean, they get our mana doing it that way, but if I get the Caracas, no, yeah, I got to get the Caracas. Caracas is the only way to do this. Now, my question is do I actually want in some weird world to balance them? Because I can take their entire hand away. I lose my Golos, and I will have an active Mana Crypt on the table, which is not ideal. Like I kind of feel like I can take their combo away from them right now. Take all 4 of their cards away. The problem with this is I could just die to my Mana Crypt. Like they could have a Force of Vigor in hand. There could be a whole bunch of things going on here. Right? And if that's the case, I mean, I can't do anything about Force of Vigor here. I think I'm going to put Jegantha back in my hands. Put Jegantha in my hand. And we're going to just do this rather than balancing him. I feel like he has to strip mine my Caracas here. And it will entail a block of my Sundering Titan here if the opponent does not go off with their 2020. And which is going to turn on all my mana, like my Chromatic Sphere, and I can also combo with Golos as well. I will be able to pay the Golos cost as an option. I've got a world of options here. Very interesting decision making. I'm not sure if what I'm doing is right. Should I have balanced there? I feel like I shouldn't have. Okay, so there goes my Caracas. But now they can't Dark Depths me here, which is going to force them to block my Sundering Titan, putting them to 3, at which point, now an SDP changes this. I feel like we're in a reasonably precarious spot here, but it is what it is. We got lots of good answers. That turn 1 Collectors was sure pulling its weight here. Of note, if my Sundering Titan goes away here, the Savannah will go. Okay. So they can set up their combo now. Lotus is a really bad draw. But this does require a trump block from my opponent, so let's see what they do. I'm going to move into combat here. I think this is fine. I mean, they've got to be cognizant that Golos is okay, that puts them to 2. Ancient Tomb is now turned off for them. Okay, so what do we want to do here? This costs how much? 7. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 6. So we're 1 short from doing that. So I think what I'm going to just do is I'm actually going to cast Gigantha. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's get Gigantha down, and now they are in a very precarious spot. Ancient Tomb is turned off right now. All right, well, my opponent's deep in the tank here. But we got no complaints because our time is practically 10 minutes less than them. But I'm finding I'm really slow at moving through this deck because the decision lines are quite nuanced and deep as to what you can do. Like I've found that, there's been multiple decision lines where I could go, one of 3 ways in a different turn, all of which are pretty good in situations. And so Not sure what my opponent's thinking through here. I mean, they obviously they must have something like a Force of Vigor in their hand or an STP or something to be able to. Even an STP doesn't get them out of this.